everybody. And we finally got the show rolling along here. Andrew joined us from hotel room. So tonight's show, we'll be talking about our experience with RLD's open house, and as well as the East Coast Large Scale Train Show that was held in Annapolis, Maryland. We'll be bringing on a couple guests to help us discuss that. And how are we doing tonight there, Andrew?
I'm doing good. I think I got a little bit of fun today. I feel a little bit crispy. I visited 5 or 6 states in the last 24 hours.
Wow.
I got around in, the last days. So, yeah, I'm not doing too bad. I've had about 6 hours of sleep in the past 24 hours. That's all you really need, right?
Yeah, you don't need any more than that. Actually, that's too much sleep.
Sure it is.
Anyway, I want to go over who's in the chat tonight. Then we'll go ahead and move on because I know we're running a little behind. But so if we go a little bit over, I'm sure you'll be okay with that, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, so we have Stay Loaded, James Catlin, Sean Fields, Cody Reisinger, Bruce Morrill, Canadian Railroads, Darren Warren, and I'm scrolling through this pretty fast. So if I miss your name, just put it in the chat. Days, Trains, and Automobiles is here. Train Brothers Railway. We have Kyle Kuiper. Haha, got it right again. Rachel B. She's here. She's been wanting to make a train show or a live show tonight. Dunbar, Paul Torres, G-Scale Trains, and keep going. Carrie Campbell, Columbus Garden Railway Society. We got a lot of people on. John Sikovich, I hope I got it right. Nuke 111.
That'd be Mr. Steve Benko.
Yes. Nancy Whitehall. She says, hi, everyone from Northwest Ohio. Slag Cat Chesapeake in Ohio. He's on quite a few chats, on quite a few streams. And Taya, yes, she has joined us. And I got to talk with her, but we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. And so let's go ahead and bring aboard our guests that we have on tonight.
All right. Let's see. Who do we have? We have Nico and Vincent.
Forget my name.
Well, at first, you guys are both wearing white, so I was like, it almost kind of looked like you were like a two-headed person. I'm like, wait a minute.
That's too much driving time for you.
Wow.
I think your eyes are a little crispy.
I think you're right. Yeah, I'm having some issues for sure. It's a good thing I got a flat screen TV in this hotel room to put my my desktop up on. This is nice. All right. So who else do we have waiting?
Jonathan Strazinsky.
Jonathan Strazinsky.
And then Ken.
Ken.
Kind of hard
Where
to
is
hear with
Ken?
trains going by, so there's another train coming
Do you
by.
see Ken?
Out here
And let's see. We have Ken.
And then there's Ken. All right. John says, Andrew, you better get some sleep. Yeah, he will after the show. He'll be fine.
Bear with me a moment as I look for something here, because
All right, no problem.
I just got into my room like 5 minutes before we hopped on here. So
We've been here since 7:30.
yeah, I know. Well, I had to account for that time change from Central Time to Eastern Time. It just throws you all off.
Well, that I can understand.
So start rolling us along, Sean. Let's
Sure. Okay. I guess we'll start talking about the train shows, and we'll start rolling along with that. So since
I guess first, let's ask Ken what's new with the National Garden Railway Convention. Ken, we have any new updates? How's everything going with that?
So far, everything's great. Looks like we're going to have about 27 vendors this year. Hotel,
wow,
about to.
Wow.
We renegotiated with the hotel due to the coronavirus. However, it's so far everything's looking really good for us. Some of the events have still not. They're starting to open up here. They've lifted most of the restrictions here in Nashville.
great.
Looks like we're going to have a pretty good convention this year. Everybody seems to be pumped up and excited about it. Just want to remind everybody that we're still giving away 3 of the custom painted SD45 engines, or the 70 Max, excuse me, the CSX 70 Max. And I think I forgot to mention that the last time I was on here. So, it looks like we're going to have a great convention here this year.
And I have a question for you, Ken.
Yeah.
The layouts, the layout tours, are they just during the week, or are you going to be having a pre and post layout tour, or how's that working?
There are a few on the pre and post show tour. We'll have a we'll be handing out a file for you to download for people that are wanting to attend. That it'll be ready probably about a week before the convention. So anybody that's registered, we'll send that out to you. So you'll have the addresses of the places that are on the pre and post show tour. During the week, the layouts are strictly going to be on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Okay. And of course, you'll be having the regular normal show during those days as well at the same time, or the convention, I mean.
I'm sorry, you asked me again.
You'll be having the tours and the show will be open during those days?
That's correct.
Okay.
Home layout tours will be starting at 7 o'clock. They'll go to roughly 1:30 in the afternoon. Of course, we have no idea what the weather will be like during that time.
Right.
Try to get through by 1:30 because it's typically here in Nashville by 1:30 in the afternoon. It's in June. It's already getting hot. So
right. Okay. And then 1:30. What happens at 1:30?
So from 1:30 on, people that have registered with the convention, they have their choices that they've signed up for. Basically, on Tuesday, the majority has signed up to attend the Grand Ole Opry on Tuesday. Wednesday will be the General Jackson Showboat Tour. Thursday will be the barbecue at the Wild Horse Saloon, and of course Friday night will be the banquet with guest stars Erlene Mandrell and the 12 South.
All right, sounds good. And do you have any manufacturers showing up to this event that you know of?
USA Trains is definitely going to be here.
Great.
Yeah, we don't know what he's bringing. I believe Star Hobbies, Reindeer Pass. The majority that everybody buys from will be here. We have a few new ones that are coming on board in the G Scale hobby that are supposed to be here.
Oh yeah.
Oh, sounds very interesting. Sounds like a good, exciting show already.
Yep. Well, all I can say is under the circumstances with what's happened and what is still happening, we've tried to do everything that we can to make it I'll say it that way.
Okay. Yeah. Great.
What about the show car?
I'm sorry?
What about the show car? Is that still going to happen?
The convention car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you went online and looked, we did the 2021 car and with the bulkhead, the loaded bulkhead flat, and we decided to go ahead and do some with the 2020 in case anybody wanted a pair of them. I believe that we've only got about 25 cars left for this go round, and there will be no more. So
I better pre-order mine, huh?
better hurry up and get them. Anybody that's on here that's planning to attend needs to check the website. The tour for Jack Daniel's distillery, it's already full and now closed. The water park at the hotel is now closed. I think everything else is still available. The tickets for Grand Ole Opry and the Jackson Showboat will all close this week. We have to turn in what was not purchased so that they can try to sell them prior to the event. So a lot of things will start closing this next week.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that update and answering them questions.
I'll order my
Yeah,
car tomorrow.
So
it's nice. It's nice to hear the convention's moving along as well as it is for you, Ken. I know you guys were a little bit kind of worried if it was going to pick up or not, but it seems like it's starting to move for you.
the convention is looking great. I'm having to do double time and work my butt off on my layout. If you didn't know, I lost about 3/4 of the layout 3 weeks ago to flood. So 2 floods, a tornado, and a flood. If it happens again, I'm burning it and I'm done with it.
Right there.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that, Ken. Good grief.
Well, 5 years in this location, I've had to rebuild 4 times. I'm tired of working on it, and I'm tired. I want to have fun. If I can't have fun, it's time to give it up. So,
I understand.
I hope to have something presentable in about 3 or 4 weeks.
Do you know roughly how many layouts will be on tour throughout the week, or?
I think there's 17 here in Nashville.
Okay.
Now you know what the real railroads have to deal with.
Ken
Now you know what the real railroads have to deal with.
Ken knows all about that.
Oh, you talk about the flooding?
Yeah.
And everything. Oh yes. But it's not as drastic as what I've had happen here. I can tell you that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, good grief, Ken. I think better men would have given up already.
Yeah, that's good.
So I'm glad to hear that you have it.
All right, so I'm sure many of us are looking forward to this and hope to see those in the chat at the National Garden Railway Convention. How far away is the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum from you?
About a 2-hour drive.
2-hour drive?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so
things in the surrounding area. The last storm that caused all the flooding here also caused damage to the building where the
coming into the siding. I'm coming in here because I got to start packing up. It's getting late.
let me.
I guess maybe after Ken here, we should switch to Jonathan since
somebody's about to pack up.
Yeah, I did that about 4 hours ago before I drove here. All right. You're going to hang around with us, Ken,
Sure.
through the show?
Yeah.
All right. If there's anything that you forgot to mention or something, we can come back around to it.
Sounds good.
All right. Wonderful. So let's see if Jonathan's still there or if
he is,
MIA.
but I ended up muting him because it was hard to understand him and Ken at the same time. But I'll unmute him now.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
All right. You there,
Hello.
Jonathan?
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen you in a long time. It's been about 4 hours, right?
Right. So we're I've just got my phone set up here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us still running trains out here at RLD, but earlier today, this all these sidings were jam packed.
I can attest to that.
So I don't know if Andrew has any video, but there's across the way. I don't know how well you can see over there, but that's a whole nother yard over there. That was full.
Wow.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. There was a lot of people here, and a lot of fun, a lot of trains running, lots of different trains. Oh, okay. I just got the thumbs up. My train's on the main, so
Great.
I got to get
All
moving.
right.
Well, I don't, but my train does.
So how many different trains do you think we're running today?
How many?
Yeah.
At one point in time, probably 20 on the layout.
Wow.
There was actually Friday night there was a ton of traffic on the main line. Lots of fun. This is Cody's train coming up here.
Is it Cody's train or is it my train?
I don't know. Did you ever own the NW2s, Sean?
Yes.
Well, I guess technically, if you want to get technical, it's my train. Those are Cody's engines.
Ah. So you're making Cody do all the hard work for you and pull your train, huh?
Yes. Yeah. I have some awesome video. I probably have about 2.5 hours, if not 3 hours of video from Thursday evening all the way till now. We had a big boy, an FEF, and another big boy on the three mains going around the main loop here. Got some awesome shots of that. I got some great video of comparing an MTH big boy with a USA big boy. Here's an FEF coming by.
That's nice. And those are the USA train heavyweights that went with
Yeah,
it?
those are the USA heavyweights.
So how many people do you think were there between Friday and today?
It's probably got many years.
If I had to guess, I'd have to say there were at least 40 people that were running trains, coming
Wow.
and going, leaving or whatever. Wouldn't you say, Cody, about 40 people that had trains on the layout at one point?
Wow.
And I mean, I never really did a head count from face to face, but I'll bet you there was probably 100 people throughout the weekend.
Definitely just about every one of those tracks was filled up. That's for sure.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of people here that were just coming to watch.
Yeah, this is true.
So, Andrew, you were here. You know how many linear feet I have on my layout between phase one and phase two.
Oh, good grief.
How many linear feet do you think are here just on the main lines, not the sidings? Because these sidings are probably 80 feet long.
That is hard to say.
60.
I mean, let me see here. I could pull up a satellite image of RLD. It doesn't have his expansion on there, but it does show the original layout. And when I see videos and stuff of it, it doesn't really explain to you how big it really is.
No, it's big. There's cars. There's a train out here right now that if I had to guess, I'd say it's 70 feet long, and that's over there.
So, let's see. I might have to switch that around. Let's see.
So, well, I'll put it to you this way. My big boy had 17 heavyweights on it, and it took up this whole outside siding.
So I guess the best I can do here is I do have this overhead of RLD.
Oh yeah, that's just the main loop.
Yeah, what you see there is the original main oval of it, which are you guys seeing my mouse pointer on the
Yeah.
screen right now? Okay.
Yep. Mhm. You're
So
good.
what Robbie has is down here, there's a track that spurs off and loops, and there's a whole expansion that comes all the way up, all the way back to here, loops around on itself, comes back down and around, and then comes in and goes through a crossover here and back into the main layout. And I'm trying to think, the main portion of the layout, that's what, four tracks on the main, or 3, Jonathan?
I need to go rescue my train.
Oh, okay.
So
That's an important
I'll
thing.
be right back. Enjoy the video.
Let's see. Let me see if I can pop his video up bigger. There we go.
Rusky.
Hey, I know that guy. That's Rocky.
Columbus Gordon Railway Society was asking, how far is RLD from Columbus? You would know that, Andrew, wouldn't you?
Well, I can tell you from Cincinnati, it's about 3.5 hours. Trying to think here. Let's see. From Columbus, I can tell you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it's about 8.5, 9 hours. Let's see here. Let's see. Columbus to RLD. And keep in mind, RLD is in Central Time, so you do a little bit of time travel and gain an hour back on your way there from Columbus.
Yeah.
It's about 5 hours and 12 minutes to 5 hours and 28 minutes, according to Google, depending on which way you go. That was my first time going there, and I'll definitely go back again. It was definitely a good time, and I'm trying to get some pictures up here to show that I had taken. Let's see here. I think I can just share.
Yeah, it's just a little far for me. I just can't drive that distance.
Oh, I understand. It's got to make sure I don't show you any of my. I don't have anything distasteful in my photos. Just I don't want to show you anything off topic.
Sure,
we keep the R ratings for Sean's channel. Let's see here. All right, so that is the way I want to go. All right, let's see if I can share this thing. Let's see that.
So Columbus Gordon Railway Society says, okay, day trip, yes.
What's going on here? All kinds of goofy things.
You have to do a solo on it, probably.
Let's see. Where did it go?
I can see
water
it.
bottle's not the scale.
Hey, there we go. Let's see. Well, I can't. Once again, I'm remote from where I'm usually at, so I apologize for the lesser quality, but we'll move along with it. There was actually quite a few different wrong direction. I just have a selection of some different photos that I had taken on the layout, and the entire thing's elevated, and I can really truly appreciate that. Although I do still have to stoop down when I got to climb underneath it to get to the other side, but it is kind of nice not having to get down on your hands and knees to fix stuff.
Okay, you there?
Yes.
We are here.
All right. I thought maybe I could walk around. Well,
okay.
We can follow my train for a lap.
He went up and come back.
So
He brought
For a
whoever
lap.
wants to look at me, just let me know how the picture is.
All right.
I'm going to try and catch up with my train. And I'll keep the sound off on my train. How's that look?
Oh, not too bad, I guess.
All right, so this is my train coming here. This is off of the Edition. I guess not my train coming. That's somebody else's train. So here's Robbie's building. That's RLD. We are in the backyard, basically. And where we are headed is into the main yard. So let me get through here. Here's my train coming here.
What makes it nice, those walkthroughs.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, there has to be. But we're coming into the main yard. The 3 lines on the left are the 3 main lines. So come in through here. I'll try to pace it off.
Bigfoot hunters.
So yeah, it's about 75 or 80 feet. This yard.
Wow.
And there's so like I said, we're on the big main right now. Then there's 2 loops that go in the middle, that original loop that Andrew was showing you. So then you have these 6 sidings. And we continue to come around the main loop. Should just put the camera on the phone, or the camera on the phone. I should just put the phone on the train.
I was going to say, I got a camera on my phone too, Jonathan.
I know, and a calculator and a flashlight. Take that, teacher from the 80s. So you can see the 3 mains here. And then what happens is the 3 mains go down the center, and you have 4 sidings. 2 on either side of the 3 mains. This is new this year. This was not here last year. And all of these sidings were full. So I'm just going to stop for a second so we don't get my engine noise.
We had Train Brothers Railway asking how everyone is running on, is it battery power?
Oh, it's all battery power.
Yeah.
The track is dead. The way I like it. Dead inside, like me.
Is there any way to raise Jonathan's audio? I might be able to. Let me take a look and see if I can fiddle with his mic settings.
All right, so now we're coming to the other side of the main, and we have to actually pop over onto the center main. And that switching takes us out to the Edition.
So Taylor's asking, can anyone bring trains to run at this event?
Yes, as long as they're G-scale, live steam or battery powered.
Okay, there you go, Taya.
While you're looking, Sean, if you click on a comment, does it pop up for you as well now?
Let me.
Let's see if we can break this thing.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay, so I can do that as well. Okay, I wasn't
So
sure.
here we are. We're coming around to the addition, and I've just stood still and kind of spun around. And it goes around to the backside of the three mains. So we're going to walk back down the path we just walked down. So there's the yard. Cody's train's coming through the yard now. And here's my train. And I don't know about the lighting, if you can see or not, but this is essentially just a big loop with a couple of giant sidings on it. So we had 3 trains parked on the siding, actually 5 over here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I have 17 cars on, and that's a decent sized train. We have people here running trains with 50, 60, 75 cars.
You have your finger in front of the camera, Jonathan.
Oh, I'm sorry. How's that? Well,
That's
I don't
better.
have the phone facing me, so. So anyway, yeah, you're more than welcome to this train that's coming opposite way here with the -9 in the front. This is about an average size train that runs on this layout.
Now, whose train is that running by right now? There's quite a few cars on that one.
Yeah, like 40 or 41, including the caboose. I don't know who it is. I never got his name. So there's a gentleman here who painted all the Bush engines for
Oh, the ones for USA?
ones for USA. This is his son's train.
Ah, okay.
So anyway, back to the layout tour. So we went around this loop, and now we're coming back. And this will take us back to essentially where we started. So these lines, this line in the middle is another giant siding. There were trains parked everywhere between yesterday and today. It was awesome.
I know Jonathan will probably be making a video from.
Oh, I'm probably going to make like 15.
I got quite a bit of video myself, so I'll be making a video of that stuff as well. It'll probably take me a couple of days to get to it, but
so you know, you were here for a couple hours and you shot a lot of video.
Yeah,
I've been here since Thursday evening. I probably have 6 hours of video. And since I hate YouTube anymore, I'm just going to post it all.
Yeah, you were living on site though. You know, you had like unlimited access.
Right. So I think while this layout can sometimes look confusing, it's actually very simple. And there's rules to follow when you run on a layout like this. Basically, you need to pay attention to the front end of your train, and you are responsible for your switches.
Yes.
Right?
Very much so.
That, and you need to put the bridges back down so the track actually lines up back up. So there it is. There's once around. I don't know how long that took. My remote, I'm doing about 65. So, but it's a great time. You know, we drove 8 hours to get here just to run.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, Robbie does it twice a year. It's usually right about the beginning of May, like it is now, and late late or early September that he does the fall open house?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty hard to beat. I mean, you show up and bring your trains and you throw them on the layout, and well, you follow the rules of the road, as Jonathan said, but throw them on the layout and run and hang out with other people that just enjoy G-scale. Hey, there's some light.
Yeah. So basically what it is what most people do is they walk with their train, like I should be doing right now and paying attention. And you get some people who just kind of walk away. But let me get my phone back on my tripod here. So here, I'll give you where's the camera?
It's on the phone. We talked about that earlier, remember?
No, I'm trying to.
I'm sorry.
What?
I'm delirious from sun exposure.
And there's also real trains in the background because you can't get much better than that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that actually reminded me. I believe it's like a grain facility or something. It's down the road from there. I took a couple pictures when I was there. They had I don't know if it was a GP9. I'd have to look at the picture again, but it kind of inspires you to put something like that on your own layout. I need to get out and do the rail fanning thing more often, like Nico and Vincent do sometimes.
Okay, here we go. Looks like Cody's taking a break. And I need to get a cord to my phone because my phone is telling me that there's only 20% left.
Okay.
Oh, that's not good.
Well, we can go on and see what's going on in the other part of the world here while you're looking for your cord.
Right.
All right. Nope. I was looking at one of these comments.
All right.
Joseph.
When my train comes back around.
Joseph Lipinski was Robbie puts up a camera for a live stream when he's doing his open house.
So yeah, I mean that's I don't know really what else to say about it. Is you know, I come here to run trains. I brought 11 inches with me. I don't know. I think 36 freight cars and 17 what are those called? Heavyweights. Leave them with 16. So here we go. Hopefully that helps. I'm going to go try to find my train.
That's not good if you lost the whole entire train.
I was going to say, insert picture of milk carton with Jonathan's train on it here. Have you seen me? No, I was actually going to comment. Joseph Lipinski was commenting. Robbie puts a live stream up when he has his open house, and he was saying it's too far away. Well, I believe the reason why is I believe it's one of his regular security cameras that he has on the building that looks at the layout, and he pipes that into a live stream. So that's why it's where it's at. Who knows? Maybe one day we can talk him into getting a camera mounted closer, like Joseph suggested. But if you're able to make it there, I definitely suggest going and enjoying it in person.
Well, is my mic still on?
Yes.
Okay. Here's what I think the cool thing is. You know, I have 1,000 linear feet on my layout, but I can't run 16 heavyweights on it. I can put 16 heavyweights on my train here and run it at 100% with zero issues. So if you have a bunch of cars and you've always wanted to make a really, really long train and run it, this is the place to do it. It's worth driving 8 hours to make a really long train.
Yeah. I was actually a little bit surprised myself that I had as many cars on the train that I was running earlier there. I swear I only brought 3 totes with me, but it was kind of like a clown car routine. It seemed like cars just kept coming out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, I got more cars to put on here still. What's going on?
I'm going to hunt down my train and get it in a siding. So enjoy the video, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I
sounds good.
All right. So let's see. What did where'd Nico and Vincent go? There they are.
They're right there.
We'll put them right there.
There you
So
go.
what kind of interesting things did you guys happen to find at the East Coast show that was going on Friday and Saturday? Anything good?
It was better than expected. I didn't know what to expect when I got there, being that it was such a spur of the moment show, and it was on, it was off, it was on, it was off. So I wasn't expecting much going there, but it was a 2.5 hour drive for us. So I figured, we'd take the ride up and check it out. Plus, Star Hobby is always interesting. You never know what you find inside there either. They still have a ton of new old stock of aristo-craft.
That's what I was just going to ask you, was if they still had a pile of that stuff. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I mean, it's unbelievable to go in there and still see, the amount of aristo-craft that they still have.
Wow.
When you think of how long aristo-craft's been gone, and they still have brand new aristo-craft there in the store. So we spent some time in there, walked around, checked that out, and then headed over to the show. I believe there was about 5 vendors. Wasn't crazy, but more than I expected, especially when from the pictures I saw on Facebook from the night before. I only saw like 2 vendors from the night before. I was like, oh, geez.
But I mean, for only what do you have, like about 2 weeks from when he announced it? I mean,
yeah,
I guess that's kind of impressive to pull together, what he did in that short amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, they had two operating layouts, and all the vendors that they had, and we ended up picking up a couple things. Vinny ended up getting a nice 2-bay covered hopper.
Ooh. There's actually one of those on its way to you, Nico.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you're lucky that it's on its way already. Otherwise, I would have, told you to keep it.
I dropped it off at UPS on Friday morning.
Yeah, I picked up a DuPont aristo-craft tanker.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry about the glare. Sorry about both glares.
I was going to say, I'm not sure which one you were referring to.
Right.
If I thought I could look as good as you with a shaved head, I'd give it a whirl, Nico. But I just look all kind of lumpy and bumpy. Nobody'd want to see that.
So I was very happy. I had recently purchased a CSX SD45. So I walked in and there was a brand new inbox CSX caboose. The new run with the see-through walkways. Right as soon as I walked in the door. Thank you. Shaved heads are cool, right? So I have that to go with my SD45 now. I have the whole LGB Coca-Cola F7 A B, a bunch of the cars with the polar bear car, one of the ones from Europe, the Cimarron, the caboose, the tanker. What else do I have?
I think that's it. You have the boxcar, the tanker, the caboose, the F7 AB.
Yeah. So
and the little one, the 240.
Oh, well, yeah, and then I have the small starter set, LGB Coca-Cola. But so this is a custom-made Coca-Cola. It's not actually LGB made, but it's the LGB flat car with the 2 containers on it. And somebody custom painted it Coca-Cola, which I thought was cool. And it's quite well done. So purchased that for myself. And then
you have to spoil yourself every now and then, right?
Well, I did. So this is the last thing that I spoiled myself with. This right here.
Oh, there we go.
CSX-9, new in the box.
New in the box.
New in the box.
Oh man, you took it out of the box; it lost value. I'm just kidding.
I know. It's unbroken. No hanging parts off of it.
Don't jinx it.
Don't jinx it yet. It didn't fall yet. Got it home yesterday. We put Revo in it today. Runs great. Very happy with it. Put the railings on it. Some of the detail parts. But I wanted that paint scheme anyway. So it was actually thanks to Sean. I didn't even see it. And then Sean had posted, they got a CSX-9 over here at Star Hobby. So I ran back over to Star Hobby and picked that up.
I'm starting to see how I rank. I asked Sean to look for a caboose for me. I get nothing.
But it just goes to show that what me and Andrew do. We try to post pictures and videos, and it actually helps everybody. It helps out people find what they want. It helps the vendors sell things, and it helps promote the show all in the same thing. So that's what we try to do, is we try to help the community in that way.
Well, and speaking of helping, I see a really easy question we can answer is Braden Hill asked, how easy was it to put the Revo in the -9, Nico?
So the -9 was one of so aristo-craft started upgrading their steam locos to put everything in the tender, which was plug and play. The -9 was one of the easiest ones they did. You remove the cover like you would on an SD45. There's 3 screws. And he's going to show you here.
You gotta try to get the cover off again.
Yeah. There's 6 screws, sorry. 3 down each side. And you pull the switches out as if you were going to, where you have your motor switch. Here's going to break it now.
I'm not going to break it.
So here,
You're going to get a brand new toy and you're going to break it already.
Yeah.
I tell you.
So you take the 3 screws out here,
6. Yeah.
I'm sorry, yeah, 6 screws, one here, and then one way down here by the smoke unit. And this whole black piece comes out, and right underneath it is the circuit board where the Revo plugs right in. You just plug the smoke and the speaker in and put the linking switch, and you're ready to go.
Yep. One of the nicest engines they made for that system, where you could just literally drop it in, and you don't have to take the whole engine apart.
Nice.
Wish all the manufacturers would do that.
I'd be on board for that.
So, we picked that up. We also met some of our friends down there. Glenn from New Jersey, and another guy, Mike, from Virginia Beach. I don't know. I saw Glenn buying some stuff in Star Hobby. Mike bought a bunch of stuff in the show as well. He bought some stuff from Star Hobby. But yeah, we loaded up my car and we headed home. I delivered Boris's engine back to him at work.
Boris, he said you stopped by his office.
Yeah.
I didn't believe he actually worked in an office, but if you can confirm that, I'll take his word then.
Well, he came out of the building. I can't actually confirm that he works there. He may have just been hanging out inside, like the entranceway, but
I could see him doing something like that. So now I'm even less convinced.
So Braden is asking, did you convert it to battery or is it still track power controlled by the Revo?
So a lot of the later Aristocraft engines have a switch right where Vincent took the cover off, and it has a track battery switch. And they have the MU plugs, or I'll show you. They have the plug right on the back here. You can see it. I know it's black on black. There's the plug. So you just flip the switch to battery and plug in your battery, and you're running on battery.
And
Alrighty.
and actually, here in a little bit, I'll talk a little bit about those battery plugs because I did a little bit of a fix on my GP40s to take care of an issue people can run into, but we'll come back around to that in a little bit.
Yeah, I know. On I think the first run Mikado's, it was actually backfeeding. When you would put it on the battery switch, it would actually still backfeed down to the track. So you would be powering everybody else's engines on the track with your battery.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so I mean, they've had their issues, but I mean, I still think Aristocraft was kind of ahead of their time with their electronics. But yeah, it was a good show. Like I said, the layouts for what is it, the Virginia and Pennsylvania? Can't remember the name of that club.
Washington, Virginia, Maryland.
That one.
Yeah, I always get the order of the states mixed up in it too.
Well, because you got the southeastern Pennsylvania, then there's the other guys that do the floor layout in the front, and then the other one, and they're all from that same area. I always get them. But they were able to set up a nice quick layout on the floor. And then the PVC guys, the PVC Railroad, have their little amusement center piece that they usually have in the center of their regular layout. They had that there running, which was nice. At least there was some trains running and moving around. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I think it was worth the trip. We had a good time. Wish we saw more people. We missed Taya. I guess we left and she got there. So
Taya is always a pleasure to run into. She's always wonderful to talk to.
I haven't actually met her yet. But yeah,
how is that not possible? You're just that busy.
Well, no, I mean, it's funny. Like we've been at the same places at the same times, and we just never met each other. Or again, just it's weird like that. Especially with masks on, though. Right now, it's kind of even hard to tell who's who.
Yeah.
Ken was asking how many people showed up. It was. I want to say there was a good 50 people in there, Sean, would you say, when we were in there?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, not including the vendors. And I think for how quickly it was put on, and I mean, there was some negative connotation on it on Facebook and other things like that, but, at least they tried. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
I wanted to touch on Braden here asked real quick how you can program sounds into Revo. Patience is all I can say. Ask Nico, but I do have a video that I started making to show you how to use the USB programmer to be able to change the sound files on that.
Yeah, I believe they have four steam sounds right now and about 5 different diesels. I mean, I wish they would do more, but like I said,
yeah,
for what
I mean, hopefully they'll move on with it. I mean, the GP9 file that they did, I thought sounds really excellent, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, the sounds that they have that I'm not I don't specifically know what each engine sounds like. So as long as I have something that's, nice to my ears, I'm happy. And I can blow the horn and ring the bell. That's all I need, But there's, again, there's so many different systems you could go with, and each one gets either, there's less expensive and then there's more expensive. So, each one gets more and more bells and whistles. Put it easy.
I was just looking at some questions here.
Yeah, so was I.
I see Braden was asking a question about the quality of the Bachmann -9 compared to Aristo, but really can't say because we haven't seen that yet. I don't know. Have you heard any speculation on when that's actually supposed to be available?
I actually talked to Dan at Star Hobby.
Oh, okay.
And they are speculating December, but more than likely probably not until January of next year before they see the -9 start rolling in.
Okay.
And right now, like I said, that's just speculation, but that's when they're estimating for that to come into stock.
December then. Okay.
Yeah, but he's thinking probably not in reality until like really January 2022.
Oh, that's good. It gives me more time to save. We can never have enough money for trains, right?
I was gonna buy one of the Bachmann ones and repaint it into this paint scheme. So now I don't have to buy one repaint. I'll probably get one to, another CSX just to have.
Another one?
Don't tell Mom.
As she's watching in the other room. So let's see here. I was just making sure we didn't have any other questions in there.
Joseph says, "Boo! We need the -9 sooner."
So I deal with, in my normal everyday life of work, I deal with China on a daily basis, and just containers have gone from last year they were $2,500, $3,500 a container to get them shipped over. Now we're seeing containers $9,500,
wow,
$10,000 a container. So just in the past year.
Well, then you got to look at, would we have a month or two ago that one container ship had a bunch that went off in the Pacific?
Oh, you had that. Then you had the one that blocked the canal.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, shipping right now is atrocious, and I wouldn't put it past anybody to hold off on shipping right now, just because it's so expensive, and even you pay that $10,000 and you're not even guaranteed a spot on the ship.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it is definitely it's definitely interesting right now in the business world of bringing stuff from overseas.
I see Joseph Lipinski commented on something about the GP60s, and I'm trying to think. I think AML had actually sent out an email to some people, I think in the last month, saying that I think some of them are supposed to start shipping, I believe the end of May maybe. But don't quote me on that. But I'd be perfectly fine with them showing up the end of May, because it's kind of nice to get a brand new locomotive that nobody's made before.
Yeah, that helps the hobby. When you get something new, it sparks interest. It keeps people engaged.
Especially a locomotive like that, which has been around for so many years and been used on so many railroads from the Santa Fe days all the way up to the Norfolk Southern days.
Absolutely. So, what did you come across at the show, Sean, when you were there? Anything that stood out and kind of made you take a second look or anything?
Well, I ran into Taya at the show. I finally got to meet her because I'm always seeing her into the chat. and had a nice talk with her. And so it's finally good to meet her in person because I've seen her at shows before, but I just never got the chance to introduce myself. And she is a BTO member, big train operators member, club member. But I noticed that she had bought or was purchasing 2 MTH Gauge 1 boxcars, and she was purchasing those. And so I thought it'd be an interesting question to ask her. I asked her, so you're into Gauge 1 or MTH Gauge 1 on your layout? She says yes. And I asked her, I says, well, if you don't mind me asking, what made you go into the avenue of going MTH? And she said something that made a lot of sense. So she said she got into going into MTH because it already has the control system and sound system in it, even though it's proprietary to that manufacturer. MTH has the DCS system, but it just for her it made it easier to have something that was already installed, buying a locomotive that already had the sound and controls installed, and she just runs a TIU and a battery control car. And so it was pretty interesting to talk to people and what they like to run and what they like to do and what their view is on the hobby. And because everybody's got their different likes, and people like Aristo, people like USA Train, Bachman. So everybody's got their own different tastes and likes, and I think that's what makes the train hobby go around.
Oh, absolutely.
So not one, but there was I was walking through Star Hobby, and I was just overwhelmed, as Nico was saying. And you're seeing cases and cases, and I'm talking about brand new cases of aristo-craft items. And so the one thing that popped out to me instantly, and I'm sure many people on this chat see my post, was that aristo-craft -9 Union Pacific with the flag on there. I'm like, wow, that's the locomotive a lot of people are looking for.
Yeah, you were trying to break the internet, I think. That's like, there's no water left on planet Earth, and you find the one bottle left and you post it on Facebook, Sean. I mean, not quite that severe, but I saw that when you posted it. I'm like, oh no, this is going to be bad.
This is going to be bad.
I thought for a moment commenting and saying, here's Sean's number. Give him a call if you're interested.
But yeah, that was probably the first thing that caught my eye in the store. I'm like, oh wow, look, there's a locomotive everybody's looking for. But then I saw a couple other things. I saw they had a USA Trains Army locomotive, and I haven't seen one of them in a long time. GP9. They had a USA Trains GP9 TH and B road name locomotive. That's another one I haven't seen in a while. Both of those are long gone. So these locomotives that I'm mentioning, with the exception of the Union Pacific, I don't know if that's still there, but those two already sold. Of course, you already know about Nico's CSX that I found. He ended up buying that. But you just seen just to see the rows and rows of, and I had that on video. I got permission from Don and Dan at Starter Hobby, just to shout out to them, and they allowed me to shoot video of the store inventory of what was in there. So I do pan around. So if you see something in the video that you want, I mean, it goes slow enough that you'll be able to see it. When I come out with my train video from the East Coast Large Scale Train Show, the viewers are so used to me doing individual layout videos, from each club. Since there was only 2 clubs there, I'll be doing something a little bit different. I decided that I'm going to throw a sort of like a documentary show type of video where I'll show there'll still be club layout videos, from the PVC runners or train runners and the Washington, Virginia, Maryland club. But I'm also going to include what I've seen for sale on tables. So maybe there's something on those tables that you guys will be interested in buying, or that you'll see in a video. So I tried to include the vendor's name and phone number as well into that video. So if you see something for sale and if they still have it, you can give them a call. Star Hobby is actually located in Annapolis, Maryland, to answer Train Brothers Railway.
I knew it was. I couldn't remember specifically where in Maryland, but okay.
Yeah, Annapolis, Maryland. So they're not far from the Bay Bridge in Maryland at all on Route 50. As soon as you get over the Bay Bridge on Route 50, it's only another couple miles from there, and you're right there. And for those who are wondering, from Star Hobby, the B&O Railroad Museum is only another 45 minutes away from there. So you got, another attraction that's close to there.
Yeah, and that's actually a really nice museum. For some reason, I think the last time I was there was probably the same time you were there, Sean. I think we said it was, 2008? Well,
yeah, about that time.
You were there just now, but I mean before that. Yeah,
that was a long time since I've been there. So Sean's phone starts ringing at 2 a.m. Hey, you want to sell that dash? It's actually not my Dash 9, but it came. It's a collection that Don was selling, and I was just trying to help him out a little bit. Because I told Don, I said that's what me and Andrew do. We try to promote the show and help the hobby shops and try and help the shows in the community and keep each other together during the times of COVID and the show shut down. So, but
they got shut down. They got shut down on that weekend. That was when COVID shut everything down. Was that weekend?
Yeah.
Like I said before, I was on my way over to that show, and I was already 3/4 of the way there and had a hotel booked. So it's like, what do you do?
So when I left Star Hobbies, unfortunately, it did not sell. There was a couple of people interested in it. I'm not going to mention names, but I think the shipping cost is what kept it from moving out of the store. Because you got to remember, Nico just mentioned it. Not only did container shipping costs go up, but shipping costs in general, even within the United States, with the post office and the UPS and FedEx, the shipping rates are through the roof right now. I don't know why, but that's just the way it is.
Yeah. What's your number again, Sean?
It's unlisted.
Yeah, don't call. If you do have Sean's number, don't call him. I don't want him tracking me down.
But I made the day of it, or made the weekend of it. I went to, so I did a store tour of Star Hobbies, and I focused my videos on their large scale inventory. I'll be coming out with a show video from the East Coast Large Scale Train Show. I also went to the B&O Railroad Museum today on a little off subject, but I'll be also coming out with video from the B&O Railroad Museum as well.
Oh, you did take video at the B&O?
Oh yeah, I
okay.
I did sort of like a railroad museum tour. I'm not sure how I'm going to split that up yet because I'm sure I got more video footage than a half hour. But yeah, I actually did a video tour of the trains outside the parking lot. I went inside the roundhouse, did a pan around, did a couple, probably like at least 4 or 5, maybe even 6 locomotive video panning at the, and talk about different locomotives in the roundhouse. I went into the North Car shops, and I'll talk about the chassis special that sits in there. There's also a 2666 Allegheny that sits in there. That's got pretty unique history to it. I'll talk a little bit about that. They also have a Chesapeake and Ohio passenger car that has an HO scale layout running in it. So I do a walkthrough on that. That was kind of unique. And they have a very unique. They just got. I don't know if they just got it in. It looks kind of fresh, but they got in a cryotrans refrigerated car. And at first I thought it was like a 57-foot mechanical reefer, but when I get in there and I look at this car, it's actually a cryogenic refrigerated car, which I didn't even know anything about. And so, most of your refrigerated cars that I've seen on the rails today are 64 foot long, but this one is 72 foot long, and it's 11 foot 3 inches high outside. So this is a pretty tall car. So I had no idea that they were using CO2 or carbon dioxide as a refrigerant for cryogenic freezing in a rail car. And supposedly, I go through the history because there is a placard inside, and I read that off, and so I won't give too much away, so you guys will watch the video. But I'll probably do like a little history documentation sort of video on that particular piece, that cryotrans mechanical reefer, because it is like a unique piece. And there's warning signs all over this car. Warning, CO2, make sure you vent the gas before you open it, because, that is kind of like a dangerous thing.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
They keep Disney in the same kind of car.
What's that?
They keep Walt Disney in the same kind of cryogenic car. Once they find a cure for him, they're gonna, pull the car out of storage.
That might be how we have to preserve you one day, Dackman. Cryogenically freeze you, to be like that show Futurama.
yeah, there you go. Here we go. Here's a question for me, Sean. Do you see any smooth aluminums? Just too nice one. I'm not sure about that one. And let's see, we have another comment. It would be nice if they would get the 2666 Allegheny up and operate. I'll tell you, I didn't realize
locomotive.
I didn't realize how long that thing was.
That's a huge locomotive, man.
And I'm just walking by it, and I'm walking by it, and I'm walking by it, and said, "This is the same locomotive." Like, this has got to be articulated. And there was a plaque there, and I read it, and it doesn't give too much information on the plaque. So I actually had to punch it into Google to find some more information on it. And in my video, I read off what's on Google. But that thing is long. I never realized how big that thing was.
I'll be right back here, Sean. I gotta run outside real quick.
Okay, no problem. Have you guys been to the B&O Railroad Museum?
Yeah, we've been there.
Okay. I was just trying to see if what Jonathan was doing there. So yeah, it was a good time there. But going back, I know I got off subject being at the museum, but at the museum they do have a G scale layout there as well.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, they're supposed to rebuild it. I'm not sure when, but
I know it was a part of a club at one point. I don't know if the club still runs it but there used to be plaques on it that it was run and maintained by the, whatever Garden Railway Club.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see those plaques on there when I went to visit.
Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting that they at least have a Garden Railway in there. It's a nice area too. You have the not the museum, the aquarium not too far away from there too. So it's, if you go to East Coast Show and you stay over the weekend, you could always hit the Baltimore area and hit that.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm ready for the full time shows to get back on track again.
I think we all are.
Yeah, I'm just tired of being home. So, do you have any more of a spin on the show there, Nico?
I don't know. You have anything, Vin? I mean, Vinny bought a N scale car at Star Hobby also. Speaking of refrigerator cars.
There you go. Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't know what to expect. I was going up kind of just to support, the show. Wasn't even expecting to really buy anything, and but it turned out to be worth the trip.
You can't go to a train show and not buy something.
Yeah,
I've done it once, but it was very difficult.
It seems like there's always something or another that you'll want.
I mean, yeah. You know how many times I've gone to train shows and come home with the same car I've already had? Like, oh, I've been looking for that car. I get home and, I already have this car.
Hey, I see someone actually had a question. Oh, shoot, where'd it go? It rolled by now. Oh, that was for Jonathan. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Joseph says he is looking forward to Nashville and seeing Ken's layout.
Me too.
Me too. Well, I won't see your layout, but I'm looking forward to Nashville.
Dunbar is asking, any talk of the 2022 ECLS train show?
Go ahead.
I haven't heard anything, but you go ahead, Nico.
I talked to Dan a little bit. I'm also part of a ride on train club, Vinny and I.
Okay.
So they have not a modular, but a sectional layout. So we were talking to him about doing that for next year, bringing that down and some ride on trains to give kids rides around.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll even give Andrew a ride.
All right.
But yeah, so we were talking to him a little bit about that. So I mean, he was talking about doing it for next year, and being back at the Cow Palace in Timonium. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, there's a ton of room at the Cow Palace because I've been there when there was a train show called the Great Scale Train Show. They have like 3 or 4 show events a year there at Cow Palace. And that's how come I'm so familiar with the location and how big this Cow Palace building really is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge.
Well, I was there last year, and if the show would have been allowed to actually go on, I mean, I can tell you that the place wasn't completely filled, but there was a lot of stuff there. I think everybody would have been very pleased with the show last year, but unfortunately that was beyond everybody else's control. So
Yeah.
I hope to see it go back there next year and have a nice big show.
Well, looking at the pictures from that show event, it looks like you guys were just in the middle part of it. I mean, you had 2 separate wings onto that. Yeah.
Yeah. To the left side of that is where all the layouts and that were set up at.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's also a right wing as well.
Yeah, I really can't remember now. I remember to the left. I don't remember anything to the right though.
Yeah, they might have had that part of it shut off, but but there is a left and right wing. And the right wing is even bigger than the left side wing. So when you go through the entranceway and you make a left, that wing is smaller than if you went an entranceway and made a right. Because that wing is huge.
Yeah. I agree with Crazy Train.
Oops, sorry about that.
No, that's fine. No, right ahead.
But Dunbar is asking, any chance it will move back to somewhere in PA? I don't, I don't think so. I think they want to keep it in Timonium, Maryland.
Well, it's moved. I mean, originally it was in the first one was in Atlantic City, right? And then it went to Somerset, and
Yes.
it went to York, and now it moved again to Timonium. I mean,
Well, the thing that Taya just said, I do remember seeing last year was, the vendors were able to pull their trailers right inside and unload and everything, which, if you can convenience the vendors a little bit more, I think that's a good thing. They're already doing a ton of work to get there.
Yeah, and they do the same thing for the Great Scale Train Show. They allow their vendors to come in with their trailers and park right inside and offload.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it is. We did the modular setup at York for like 8-9 years, and people would park, wouldn't leave trailer access. So we would get there and try and get into maneuver the trailer, or if it was raining, you want to try and get the trailer as close to the doors as you could. People would just put their cars there, and then so it would be nice if you didn't have to deal with that and be able to pull a trailer right in.
Yeah, yeah. So that's there's a lot of positives there, and I think there's a lot. I don't know. I think there's a lot more room to grow in Timonium than there was in York.
I think that's part of the reason of moving. Well, I know that they got messed around with schedule. They would book it, and then another show would want to come in that would be taking more room in the fairground, and then they would get them bumped. And so, I mean, they just kind of had enough of being pushed around by the York Fairgrounds too.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of things that go on with that.
Oh, like they got stuck on Easter, Easter weekend a few years.
Oh
yeah, I do remember that.
And they weren't scheduled for that weekend, and that was it. That's all they could get. So
yeah, I do remember that.
But
so I was going to touch on what I mentioned earlier about the battery plugs on the Aristo stuff, and Nico can probably help along with this. Let's see, where did my my picture go here? Give me 1 second here to share this picture. So I'm sure Nico knows what we're looking at here. Look familiar, Nico?
yep.
So, all right, let's see if I got everything on the screen. So it might be cut off a little bit on here, but essentially, if you see my mouse pointer, right?
Yep.
Okay. So at each end here, these two boards, you'll see they have these poly fuses on them. You have your two black leads coming in here, and you have two over here. And those are going to your battery plugs that are at either end of the locomotive. And the issue that you'll run into, if you're just running one engine, you'll never probably have an issue. If you run two, maybe, but say you're going to run a trailing battery car and you want to run 2, 3, 4 engines and MU them together, through the battery plugs. What happens is, your engine's at the front, all their power consumption, you got to figure it's kind of doubling up as it goes through each engine, to where that lead engine, all of its juice is actually coming in your battery plugs into the factory board, and then has to run through the wiring out the other side of the factory board to get back out the plug. And what happens is it ends up overloading those poly fuses, which isn't a super big deal, because once you remove the power and they reset, you're good to go, but it won't work that way. They'll just keep tripping. And what you need to do, let's see here if I got my next picture here. Yeah. So what you have to do is you have to actually put a bus wire in between that so you can actually bypass that just for the battery feed itself. And one of the more important things you need to make sure you do, everybody that's going to do anything like this should have a multimeter, and you need to use it and test from your terminals from one end to the other, your same identical pad like this at the other end, to figure out which ones are the same polarity. Because on mine, it ended up being, the one that I'm testing that's towards the back on this end matches up with the one closer on the other side, which I guess would make sense since they flip around. But the point being is you don't want to cross those, because that's going to cause you problems. But you can solder them onto the existing pads, or in my case, I clipped the battery plugs, stripped them, and I twisted my bus wires in and resoldered them together. I should have a picture here. Let's see. I think I'm explaining that correctly. Am I not, Nico?
Yep. No, you're doing good so far.
All right. Not too bad too far. All right. Let's see here. So I think this might be the picture I want.
Either bypass that and just put another line separate.
Yeah. And what you'll see in this picture, I think, did the new one come up? Yeah. In this picture here, these are your battery plugs coming up from underneath. And I already have it shrink tubed here, but you can see I have two wires coming off the left side of that. One is going back into the original factory lead that goes to that board, and then the white and the green I actually have are running the full length. And I'm trying to see. I thought I had a picture with them in there. This might be it. Yeah. So let me see if I can zoom in here. So yeah, you can see I have them spliced in. So your original leads are still going to the board, so it'll apply power to your factory socket and all that. But then the white and blue, I just have running across the length, and it, just like you saw there in the other end, it goes in. But the important thing to do after you do that, once again, is before you apply power to it, use your multimeter again and test these contacts here, like I showed. If you can touch it on either terminal on the other end and you get continuity, you got it crossed. Fix it before you put any power to it.
Why? What happens then?
I couldn't tell you because I always test it. I learned from other people's mistakes on that one. I would have made that same mistake had I not seen other people have that issue, but I'm not infallible by any means. But it's fairly simple to do. I mean, I don't know. I think it took me, 20 minutes or so to do this one. And then the second engine I did was, maybe 10, 15 minutes. But just running those bus wires, the length of that, you can take and plug in, 3, 4, 5 engines and have a battery car at the back, and you don't have to worry about the poly fuses tripping because you're pulling too much juice through, the engine closest to the battery. And I want to say what this applies to, the GP40s, the Dash 9s, SD45s, E8s. Trying to think if I'm missing anything.
I mean, I think that's the way they wired almost all of them.
The last run of the U25Bs even, I think, had the plug and play sockets. The same thing on them.
Yep.
But
well, I think they were thinking people are going to be double heading, maybe 1, 2 engines. Once you start getting above that, it's just there's too much amperage draw, and then you're going to start heating up the poly fuses. And
and I do have to say that the poly fuses are definitely a good thing. It
Yes.
beats having to go in and replace a glass fuse or a surface mount fuse.
Or a trace on your circuit board, or a cooked wire, or
I had that issue with that last run U25 that I have, that I noticed when it went over the switches on the one truck that it would stop, and I discovered that it wasn't picking up power from the other one. And when I pulled the shell off, something had a nice smoky scent to it. And one of the traces had actually lifted on the factory board and touched the other one. And thankfully, it didn't majorly ruin anything. But that's the first time I've ever had any dealings with a trace lifting on a board, and never realized that was an issue prior to that. But it's definitely something to look for.
yeah, on some of the older locomotives, I've seen that where the trace isn't there's no protection on it. So if it derails and goes across the track, it's going to cook a trace or cook a wire. So I've had to fix circuit boards before with that, burning up a trace.
Yeah. But like I said, it's pretty simple to do. Biggest thing, make sure you have a multimeter to do those wire. Actually, if you're going to do any wiring in any of this, I think Nico would agree. Make sure you have a multimeter. I mean, I don't know if they still do it. One time, Harbor Freight would give the things away for free with any purchase. I think I got like 5 of them at home.
Yeah. Though I think even when they sell them, they're $8. So
yeah,
I mean,
it's worth the investment.
Yeah, that was when I did the radio control install show. That was one of the tools I said that you have to have. I mean, if you're going to do any sort of wiring or electronics, you're going to need a multimeter.
Absolutely.
Got a question from Slagcat. Maybe somebody could help him. Is there any C&O G-scale locomotives by any companies? And then he asks if it's whether it's steam or diesel.
Yeah.
USA Trains makes a GP38-2.
Okay.
I think.
C&O, yeah, and I think
Didn't Aristo make the Malay and C&O?
I believe you know what? I have a catalog right here.
How about that?
I think what was the didn't they do the GP40? No, that was
I don't think
that was B&O. Sorry.
I think they did it in chassis system.
Yeah, they did it in Chessie and they did it in
Western Maryland.
hold on, I'm thumbing through.
We are looking now. Please hold.
Operators are standing by.
Yeah, operators.
Yeah, I mean, I know they did C&O because I'm fixing a GP. What is it? 38.
GP38-2.
Yeah, I'm fixing one now for a customer.
What happened to that?
What?
C&O.
Yeah, you're right. Malay. They did C&O Malay.
Okay.
I'm sure they did it in the FA1. I mean, they did that thing in every road name possible.
This is true.
Pacific. I mean, this is one of their last catalogs. But like I said, I know that USA Trains did it. I know.
Can we still do the USA catalog again? Just
Nah, that's back outside.
I have to grab it.
Yeah, it was B&O. I think B&O was C&O, but it's B&O. Yeah, I mean, they definitely did the Malay, and I would say the FA1. And then the GP38. So, yeah, there's a couple of them.
All right, there you go, Slagcat.
Ask and you shall receive.
Yes.
Just because you had never seen one doesn't mean they don't exist.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that were made in G-Skill that you probably haven't seen, because they didn't make a lot of them or whatever have you.
Yeah, I mean, FA1s, I mean, I can't believe how many road names they did.
Kerry Campbell said that he has an LGB steamless sound that's C&O, and I know exactly which one he's talking about. It's either a 240 or an 040, and it has like a small Vanderbilt tender with it.
Oh, right. Yep. That was the 240, the American.
Yeah. It's actually a nice little steam locomotive.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know which one you guys are talking about now.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've come across that one a couple of times. And, you know, the ones that I've seen, I think, have about 1 million miles on them, and they still run.
1 million miles.
You know, I mean, some of the ones I've seen, you know, they run in displays that just run and run and run and run and run forever. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, those are good engines. You know, the stands, those things I've seen on, you know, restaurants and with 1 million miles on them. Those things will run forever. Or you could always have one custom painted. There's always that option.
There you go. Yeah.
So, I guess as we're getting closer to the end here, I guess I'm kind of curious to ask you know, any of us that are on right now here on the show is what kind of stuff I guess are we hoping to see in the future? I mean, I know we're all kind of excited to finally see some train shows and that happening. And of course, you know, Ken has the convention coming up, but you know, I'm just kind of curious what our expectations are, what we're anticipating. You know, it seems like it's been forever since anything was happening. So now that stuff's coming back, it's kind of like a faint memory to me.
So what was your question again? Because I'm thinking of something. I was looking at Jonathan and caught me off guard. But.
That's okay. Jonathan catches me off guard a lot. No, I was just saying, you know, I guess those of us that are on the show right now is, you know, what are we kind of looking for in shows as they start to kind of come back around and we're able to go to them? I mean, you know, is there anything that, you know, we haven't seen in shows in the past that we'd like to see, or more of something that, I don't know. I guess just kind of a general thought kind of thing, what our expectations are.
Well, for me, I mean, I just want to see the shows come back, period, in the capacity that they originally were. I'd be happy with that as a start, you know. Bring back the Greenberg shows, bring back the world's greatest hobbies, just bring the shows back to get the people back out there so they have an interest in the model trains. Because, you know, I think the train shows is the biggest part of promoting the hobby. Because without the shows, I mean, how are you going to attract people into these places, and then they see the trains and then they're going to want them and then, you know, buy them. So I think that's a biggest key part of keeping a hobby going. So
I think you're right.
Yeah. So, you know, I just want to see the shows return. I mean, the world's greatest hobby won't return until 2022, and that's fine. But, you know, on my way to Star Hobby and to the East Coast Large Scale Train Show, Maryland said that they lifted their mask wearing mandate on the radio. So, you know, it seems like things are moving in a positive direction where events will start coming back. I was talking to Don at Star Hobbies, and I basically asked him the same question you're asking everybody on this show. Is you know, I asked him, I says, what do you think the future of the large scale is? You think it's going to return? And he says, yeah, he thinks it'll return. You know, where people will start buying. He says people's already started buying track and stuff like that, and so they've seen an increase in sales of track alone. So, things are starting to return, and I'm happy for that.
I really like the
here too. he ran out of track because everybody that was staying home from the pandemic was buying and building.
Yeah. And that goes for a lot of scale, not just G scale. I mean, I know people who's been waiting for tracker switches, even in HO scale. And that's just crazy to think that all this tracking stuff is sold out. And many gauges, not just large scale. So people have been staying home and building layouts. So I guess it's good. The vendors or the hobby shops are still able to survive because people couldn't do anything else but stay home, and they needed something to do. So
I mean,
working on
look what you did with your layout last year, Sean. I mean, I did more with my layout last year than I had in prior years. I mean,
oh yeah,
I can understand it.
Yeah, so if the train shows were still going, I probably wouldn't have got as much done as I did last year. And of course, I'm doing another major update, but I don't think I could have gotten as much done. And Jonathan's waving by, yeah. There you go. Hello, bye.
Hey, I'm going to bed.
You're going to bed.
We're exhausted.
You don't want to do like an MTV Cribs thing and give us a tour? I'm just kidding.
No.
They're tired from playing train?
I played train since Thursday afternoon.
It's a terrible life, isn't it?
Right?
That's a terrible life.
Right.
Well, thanks for coming on, Jonathan, and hanging out with us and giving us a tour of Robbie's layout.
Absolutely.
Anybody
who's anybody is here right now.
That would be and before Jonathan disappears too, I'll make mention that our next show, Jonathan's actually going to be back. He's had people asking him, and I've had people asking. He's going to do a whole show for a beginning to end for installing RailPro. I'm not quite sure how in depth you're going to go with that, Jonathan, but I think you got quite a bit of material for that already, don't you?
Yes, I do. And I think how we'll approach it is try to answer some of the most common questions about the RailPro, wiring, how I actually place it inside of an engine, and programming. So I go through some programming stuff too. So I was fortunate enough that when I first got the RailPro, I had 4 days off. So I had plenty of time to experiment. And hopefully we can get Steve Benko to chime in the chat at least. And anybody else who has installed RailPro, I'm definitely not a professional. I'm a hobbyist. So all I can do is give advice on my own experiences. I don't know if you heard that with the train going past, but
we did. I turned up your mic volume earlier. I think it helped because I didn't hear any more comments that they couldn't hear you. That's a pretty long train.
So anyway, I would encourage people to, in a couple of weeks when we do this show, I would encourage people to ask a lot of questions. And I think between people in the chat who have installed RailPro, myself, Cody, and Steve, I think between the three of us, we'll be able to answer just about any question that you have concerning RailPro, from what kind of LED bulbs to buy and stuff like that. I'm not a very technical person, so I'll probably call them diodes or resistors or something, but
flux capacitors.
Flux capacitors, yes. We plan on doing some time travel. And then once we do the show, I might drop some videos on my channel about installing RailPro. So we'll see how it goes.
All right.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, we'll let you go off to get your beauty sleep.
Yeah, I need it. Lots of it.
All right. Thank you, Jonathan.
Good night,
Have a
guys.
good night.
Night.
All right. Boy, my train of thought just went right
We were
out the
talking
window.
about the shows and what we were thinking for the future.
Oh, yeah. The one thing I was going to say, and typically most train shows have them, but you know, I'd like to see like a lot of the show, and I know it's hard because some of them are smaller, but seeing operating layouts to me is a big part of the train shows. And you know, usually your larger ones, you know, will have several different layouts, but you know, even the smaller shows, it's nice even if they could get, you know, a layout in their operating, because I think it does. I think it does a lot to sell the imagination aspect of model railroading. You know, when you see stuff sitting on a table or in boxes versus, you know, whether it's a modular layout or something set up on the floor, that it really captures people's minds and makes them start thinking about what they can do. You know.
Yeah,
Right.
some of the shows though are like decreasing the amount of layouts they have because the vendors pay for tables. So, you know, they're looking at it a financial way. So they're getting rid of the layouts because, hey, I could get 10 more tables in there. That's $750 more I'd make. Which I think is not, you know, yeah, you may get another vendor in there, but you know, the couple families that are going to come in and pay at the door, and then, you know, the vendors aren't selling as much. It kind of washes out too.
Yeah, there has to be a balance. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the things I found interesting is I actually got to talk to one of the club members of the PVC train runners. And, you know, he was telling me that they also like, of course, to promote the hobby. But this one club member, and I'm sorry if I don't remember your name, but I think he goes well beyond the call of promoting the hobby. So what he does and I wanted to put this out there so everybody knows, but what he does is every year he goes to a train show or East Coast Large Scale train show, and he'll buy a starter set and give it to a family. Just give it to them to help promote the hobby. And he says he's been doing this for quite some time, to the point where he gave it to a family. Then that family gives it to the son, and now the grandson has it. And he gets Christmas cards from these families, and he gave it to this one person, and now this person's grandson is sending him Christmas cards. So I just thought that was a great story that he's telling me. He actually bought 2 starter sets this year because there was no show last year.
You know, all it takes is that one train set given to somebody to spark that interest, you know?
Right, yeah. And I thought that was wonderful.
And thinking about that too, and it just popped into my mind now when I was at RLD earlier today, was he had some of the USA trains, the Alco S4 switcher starter sets, and I want to say I think those sets sell for like $500, which, you know, you're getting solid brass track with it, you're getting a transformer, and the S4 is actually a very nice locomotive. And
yes,
it's like a box car and a caboose that comes with it. I mean, $500 is a lot of money, but really, when you look at what you're getting in that, I mean, you're really not getting any junk in there. I mean, it's all good quality stuff that you're getting for that money.
Yeah, and you're getting a ready-to-run set, complete set. Does that include a transformer too? Do you know?
I'm
yes.
looking at it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it did. I was trying to look at the picture that I had found, but it's kind of blurry on the site I found it on. Yeah, that's just what like the smaller pack that USA makes, right, Nico?
Yep. Like a 1 amp power supply.
Yeah.
We've given away, I mean, I've given away, I can't even think of how many train sets I've given away over the years. Just to, you know, found a kid or somebody that had an interest in it. You know, maybe it grows something, maybe it doesn't. Maybe the kid has fun with it a couple of years, but, you know.
We're giving a couple away here during the convention as well.
Yep.
Oh, very nice, Ken. Way to go.
I get people that give me trains to give away. You know, they go, I know you give them to kids, and I know you give them to. So I have a couple G scale engines that I got to give away to kids, and I have a couple. I have a bin full of N scale stuff that we're going to be giving away. You know, as we find kids to give them away to.
And Dunbar is asking, are there any affordable starter sets being offered by anyone? He's assuming that only USA Trains is making them.
No, Pico actually makes some starter sets, if I remember correctly.
Pico, LGB, Bachman, USA Trains.
I'm just looking to see what some rough prices are on the Pico ones. I haven't really looked a whole lot at them, but most of their starter sets are usually pretty good as well.
I mean, I think the LGBs are running around 300, and that's still solid brass track.
Let's see here.
That's not a bad price.
I guess it depends on where you go to. I'm trying to think. Only Trains. That's a mainstream site for stuff, isn't it, Sean?
What's the site name again?
Onlytrains.com. That's a mainstream site, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, like they have the Pico, the Santa Fe freight starter set that comes with the what is that? Is that a saddle tank? The 060. You get a 2-bay hopper and a caboose, transformer in the track, and looks like their price on it's $359. I mean, that's really not a bad price. I mean, and it's once again, I don't think it's a bad set either. I mean, most of the starter sets that the manufacturers make seem to be pretty decent.
I still have my first Bachman starter set from HO from when I was 5, and I still have my first LGB set that I got in 1985. Still runs.
For some reason, I picture you 5, smaller, but still with the shaved head and the facial hair.
No, I had hair. I had hair back then.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you could never go wrong with a small starter set to get started. I mean, you know, if it takes off, I mean, we all kind of upgrade at our own pace or in our own direction. But, you know, the nice thing with the starter set is that circle of track is always the perfect size for around your Christmas tree at Christmas time if you do, you know, start growing into larger things.
Yeah, well, that's how most of us started. I mean, I got hooked on trains with my brother's Lionel train set around the Christmas tree. I ran it more than he did.
Wow.
Then I wised up and I realized it had 3 rails. So then I
I was just looking at some of the comments in here, and I see Nancy Whitehall made a comment about the granddaughter being hooked at 3 months, and by 13 months she was controlling them on her own. That's what I'm talking about.
Vinny had I installed an LGB set in Vinny's room before he was born. It went around the ceiling, and I used one of the aristo-craft starter set remote controls. So, you know, that's what we used to put him to sleep with, was the train running around like a mobile. And then once he got old enough, he started controlling the train on his own. You know, he would run the train in his room on his own.
Do you find this embarrassing, Vincent?
No.
Okay.
He wants to put it back up when we move into our next house, so he could go to sleep again.
Hey,
You know, you could be onto something there. That could be like a new business thing, like, you know, train mobiles for adults, you know.
There you go. The one thing I learned though, I did brass track on it, and the track would, you know, give like off a dust, like a dark dust, the oxidation of the track. So, you know, we would get like the oxidation falling track. So then I switched it all over to stainless steel and that, and I didn't have to clean the track anymore either, which was nice.
That's interesting to know.
So yeah,
I'm thinking I would need to have a guardrail around that though, because if it fell off of there, well, you know what? That'd probably help me fall asleep too if it hit me in the head. I imagine, right?
well, that's what I did. I made trestles. You know, I cut a steel trestle thing where his bed was. So if it derailed anywhere while he was sleeping, you know what I mean, or over the door, there was a guardrail.
We never had a derailment. The only thing we ever had happen was the caboose came uncoupled.
Yeah.
So.
There you go. Lay out on the floor. Nice.
Absolutely.
And it's funny Andrew mentioned mobile for adults, because I remember, I don't know, 2-3 years ago, I seen on, maybe even longer, somebody on one of the G Scale Facebook groups had one of these beds with a canopy on it, and they actually put a LGB train running on top of it.
I do remember seeing that.
Yeah, I know the guy's name. I don't know if I should say it out. He's on some of the G Scale forums and on Facebook.
Yeah, and when Andrew said that, that's the first thing that came to my head was running into the photos and video that he made of that. I think it's an LGB train running around on top of his bed.
Yeah, it's one of like the smaller starter sets. Yep.
I thought it was cool though.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of houses that had them all over through the ceiling in the kitchen, going above the cabinets.
Very nice. Yeah. I could go for that in the kitchen. Maybe I could run it to the living room, you know, have it stop by the refrigerator, get me a snack.
There's some restaurants that they actually have the trains. They'll bring the food. They'll bring your food to your table on the train.
Yeah. They have a track going to each table. Or they stop at your table and then you take your food off. I've seen both.
Where's this?
Oh.
I was going to say, Ken, can we have this at the convention?
Yeah.
I know there's one in Germany. And it was funny. There was, when that pandemic hit, there was a couple guys that were using trains to deliver, like, you know, they had a bar with outdoor seating, and the guy brought his train set in to run the drinks out. So, you know, there was no contact. You would order your drinks, and then he ran the train out with your drinks.
Wow.
That's pretty wild.
Perfect.
But yeah, no, there are quite a few restaurants that use trains to deliver the food, or, you know, have the trains running around the ceiling.
I remember when I lived in Memphis, or when I grew up in Memphis, but up here in Nashville, I've not seen that here.
Yeah. There's it's funny. It's when you sometimes you don't even see. I remember being in my 20s in a bar in New York, and then we're hanging out, and I'm drinking a beer, and I'm like, I kept on hearing the sound go by, and I'm like, sounds really familiar. And, you know, and then it would disappear, and I'm drinking, I'm talking to my friends and everything, and the sound goes by. The bar had a train running all along in the ceiling.
Oh, wow.
It was an LGB train, and it was literally like, you know, 2 feet above your head. Like, I could have reached up and and touched the thing. But yeah, it went all over the place. But yeah, there's a couple trains a couple restaurants that do have trains running around the ceiling.
Very nice.
Somebody said there was one in St. Louis.
Really?
Yeah.
Oop. The chat scrolled on me too fast. There we go. Looks like Dan says there used to be a restaurant like that in Wichita, Kansas in the 70s. Wow, that was a while ago. Called Casey Jones Junction. That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
There was one in New Jersey, the Chatterbox. They had a train around the ceiling.
Yep.
Sean, you didn't know about this?
No, it's not in South Jersey.
Dansbury Depot in Stroudsburg used to have one running around before because it was an old train depot for the Lackawanna there.
Mm.
It had the LGB trains running around. They had LGB trains like all over in display cases, and then it went on fire. That was the end of that.
It caught on fire?
Yeah, they had an electrical fire.
Hmm.
So I mean, there's the part of the station is remaining. They moved it across the street, but like the whole freight depot burnt down.
Wow.
A lot of the trains went with it.
Yeah.
Dang. All right.
I restored. They had an LGB Mogul. They pulled out of when they moved the building across. There was a LGB Mogul that was like in the rubble from the fire, and we restored it for the depot.
Really?
Yeah. So I got it running again. I took off clean. I had to take the whole engine apart because it was covered in soot and dirt, and and I took it all apart, replaced any parts that were broken or melted, and and it ran again.
Wow.
All right. So my wife doesn't kill me since we're sharing a hotel room. I guess I'll move on so we can get closer to wrapping it up. I guess we'll bounce back to Ken and see if he has anything else that he wanted to mention about the convention coming up or anything, or if anyone had any questions for him about it before we wrap up.
Can I hear you?
Good question. Ken, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Did you have anything else that you wanted to add about the upcoming convention or anything?
I can't think of anything. Maybe in a couple of weeks I'll try to give you a quick update. Since we'll be like right there at it, so we're only just a few weeks away.
Oh yeah, I guess we are getting rather close to that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize how close we were actually getting.
4 weeks actually. 4 weeks.
Let's say, let me look at my banner I have here. May 31st. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be here before we know it.
So I know Nico's coming.
Vincent's coming.
You in person, and Andrew, or are you and Sean coming? Do you know yet?
I'm still debating on it. Other life things that have gone on. I have to debate on my PTO use. I want to come. I'm just not 100% sure yet. I'll definitely let you know for sure if I am coming, because I definitely want to come by and see your layout.
Sure.
What about you, Sean? Have you decided if you're going to go or not?
At this point in time, yeah, I decided that I do want to visit. So that's why I was asking you all those questions in the beginning of this show.
So, I believe you did ask Ken about the layouts, and the layout tours are all right in the middle of the week, right, Ken?
Yeah, Tuesday through Thursday, for the most part.
And actually, something that I didn't realize, and I pointed it out to Sean a couple of weeks ago, is that's actually Memorial Day week, is it not?
That is correct. So on Memorial Day, which is Monday, that's when we bus everybody to New Haven, Kentucky, to go to the Kentucky Railway Museum and ride the train there.
Weren't you asking about that, Sean?
I was actually asking about the Tennessee Valley.
Okay. Tennessee Valley. I couldn't remember.
And then you'll ride the local train. If you're here on Tuesday, then there'll be a small train ride from one part from one part of Nashville into downtown Nashville as part of the tour. You'll ride the metro here. small metro.
I have to do some real pondering on what I want to do. Because what the next convention after you guys goes out to the West Coast, doesn't it?
It goes to Denver next year, and the thing that we're trying to really promote is we want people to come because the vendors are depending on people to come and visit and to buy from them. We've already indirectly heard there's a couple that said that if they don't make a go, if it's not a good go this year, they'll question whether they want to continue to do it next year. I
can understand that.
So, and of course, it's like everything else. It gets a little more expensive every year, and then of course that hurts in your train. That's hurting your train buying money.
Train buying money. What's that?
That's the money that you want to get spend to buy and live cheaply while you're doing it. So,
yes, lots of ramen every night.
Yeah,
there's the necessities in life, like trains, and then there's the frivolous things like food and.
Yeah, I mean, you think about food, it spoils, it goes bad, you got to throw it away. Trains don't do that. It makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
When's the last time I can't think I've ever bought a train that has an expiration date on it,
That's a good point. I'm going to remember that.
Yeah, what'd you buy more trains for? Well, these don't expire,
They just and they keep going up in value.
Yeah, anymore it sure doesn't seem that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right. So I don't die. I think I'm gonna wrap this up here, so everybody can see me again in 2 weeks again. If you don't see me again, send out the search party. Yeah.
Send out the search party. Before we go, I just wanted to mention one other thing. I'll do my outtake and we'll end the show. But I wanted to spring this on you at the last minute, Andrew. But I've had, during the East Coast Large Scale Train Show, I've had several people come up to me. They recognize the logo on my shirt because I always wear these shirts on these shows. So they recognize the logo on the shirt, and they come up to me and they thank us for these live shows that we host, and they enjoy them. And I've had people who say they might not always catch the live show, but they always go back and watch the replay. So I did want to, mention that to you at the end of the show, how people did come up to me and they appreciate the show, and they wanted me to make sure that you knew that, and they really liked what we were doing, trying to keep the G scale community alive during the pandemic and the COVID, and bringing people together. And they really enjoy the show, whether they catch it live or replay.
I'm glad because, I mean, what do we really do the show for? I mean, we don't really do it for us. I mean, it's not like we're getting paid to do it. I mean, so it's good to have that feedback to know that, people actually are getting something from it. I mean, at the end of the day, it does kind of make you feel good that, even if you have one person out of the whole crowd that gets something from it,
Come to the convention. I'll try to find you a free freight car.
A free freight car.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go. I don't know.
Sounds like he's trying to bribe you.
That was a bribe.
I mean, the wife seems kind of asleep. I think I saw on like the Flintstones cartoon years ago, like it's gonna go and like whisper in her ear, like subliminal things or something like, "We need to go to the convention."
I'm just waiting for something to bounce off your head.
But that's why I keep looking, So, Yeah. Oh yeah, you can't forget about Canada.
Hey.
I say that in a loving way. I always Steve Benko and I always tease each other. No, I'm glad everybody gets something out of the show and enjoys it. More importantly, Ken, Nico, Vincent, of course, Jonathan that was on, and any of the other guests that we've had. To me, that's kind of what makes the show. I wouldn't want to tune in to just look at Sean and I every 2 weeks.
Yeah, there seems to be always something that people learn from the show, and it's always something different. Yeah, and I think that's what they like the most is they actually get to learn something new. Whether it was weathering on one show, installing, doing Revo or Rail Pro or whatever their interest was. There's a variety of interests for everybody, I guess, is what I'm saying.
I see Taya's trying to tell me something as well. As long as we don't run into each other, Taya, standing out in the parking lot while we're waiting to find out if our hotel's on fire or not, like last time. Although it's always enjoyable to run into you wherever it's at. I just prefer not to do it at midnight in the cold with the fire trucks in front of the hotel.
It's always a good time.
Absolutely.
I miss hanging out by the pool, drinking beers, and talk about trains.
That actually was a really enjoyable time. Nothing like the smell of overchlorinated water.
Overchlorinated.
I was looking at okay, Joseph. I look forward to meeting you here.
Oh,
Joseph Lipinski. He's from the New Hampshire Garden Railway Society.
I see. He commented there.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He's the one with the He's the one with the helicopters, right?
Well, that's Scott Solinsky who has
Solinsky, right?
Yeah.
The other ski.
Yeah, right. And Joseph, he's got a GG1 that he runs. It's one of his trains that he likes to run. The USA Trains GG1's got the motorized pantographs on it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's one of his trains there.
Yeah, we'll look forward to getting back to the shows and hanging out with everybody again.
Yeah, definitely.
Good grief. We got everybody saying thank you now. I'm going to get overwhelmed. I'd say my face would turn red, but it's already sunburned now.
It's already sunburned.
Don't cry.
Joseph's got the military train too. Yeah, the military train.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm sure we've seen each other at the East Coast show.
Yeah, I was thinking he had the GG1, but he's got the military train. His military train, if it's the one I'm thinking of, is pretty unique because the real military flat car that hauls tanks, the Abrams tanks, are 3-axle truck flat cars, and he actually duplicated that. So his military flat cars, and I do have a video of that because that was because he did bring it to run, and the flat cars have 3-axle trucks on them, so that was kind of cool.
All right. Well, I say let's go ahead and wrap it up for now. And
yes,
thanks for having us on again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank
No
you guys.
problem.
Thank you.
And we'll wrap up the stream. We'll catch everybody next show, and thank everybody for joining. Have a great and safe night, and we'll catch everybody next show. Thanks a lot.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.